We're good?
Ready to go live here. I'm hitting the button now. And we're good.
Awesome. Well, I am calling to order the meeting of the Grand Marais Planning and Zoning Commission. We have all of our commissioners present. We could use more. If anybody's interested, please come on down. Appreciate it. We have an agenda before us and minutes. I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
I'll second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, and now we have the minutes. I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
Awesome. And we have the Wilkes variance request before us. I presume that you've had an opportunity to look it over and maybe been down there and seen it. Obviously, George is not here to represent it in any way. It does seem, to my eyes, to be pretty straightforward. It didn't seem like there was any reason not to approve. Were there any comments, Patrick?
No.
We didn't receive any comments either. Commissioners, I know Commissioner Hawkins, you had mentioned that you might have a question or two.
Excuse me. Yeah, the property line, the current property line and the proposed property line, do you know what that is all about?
That is not us.
I was just
Yeah,
curious.
and I was kind of curious about that too, but it's not really, it's not our thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah, because I don't know, that might have been on there from some other, I have actually no idea why that's there. But it's a good question, I'll give you that. Absolutely. Did you, Mr.
So
Peters?
if
Yeah.
I'm looking at the schematics properly, the additions proposed are on the north side of the cafe, not the south side of the cafe, not on the water side. So we're talking about the setback to Highway 61 and
Yeah, but it's really the 40-foot that's getting,
that's
why they're here.
okay, so that's the, okay,
Yeah,
all right.
and if you can see like the awning on the, there at the back, off of the, what is it, off of the restroom, I guess? So that is actually 40 feet, but the other one is not. So where they're, and, I mean, there is already, it's already a breezeway, and really they're just closing it in.
That's right. Yeah.
kind
So.
of makes sense.
To my mind, I don't see any issue, and obviously getting nothing from any of the neighbors. Obviously, North House being the biggest one, but nothing from Kate and
Jeremy, or,
yeah, at Fisherman's Daughter and across the street didn't
Yeah.
seem to have anything to say. So, but. So did you
I
have
think
anything?
it's exciting that they're going
Oh.
to make it year-round.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do
I mean,
too.
and that goes to our findings. Yeah, so is it in harmony with the purpose and intent of our ordinance? It clearly is. We want there to be restaurants, and we want them to be full-time, or full-time, we want them to be year-round, to support all the folks here, both our, transient people and also our year-round people. So that's great. It's clearly part of our comprehensive plan in terms of the, let's see, I thought in terms of providing economic opportunity for residents and also respects the needs and desires of residents. I mean, we've all heard ourselves maybe even say, boy, I wish they were open year-round, and now they are. So that's great. And it is obviously reasonable. There's nothing extravagant about this. It seems like it's just a way to make sure that people can get to the bathrooms and make sure that they can get deliveries into their kitchen and that kind of thing. So it seemed like those are all very reasonable things to ask for. This one is always a tricky one for me, the plight of the landowner, because sometimes it's like, well, is it? I'm not always sure how to answer that. obviously this property is what it is, and they have been permitted forever and a day to be, you know, occupying it and having a restaurant, and it's been a net benefit for our community, so I do see it as a good thing. The fact that they're gonna be open year-round, again, is something that we desire as a community. So that's, maybe that in there, we can find the circumstances that make it not their own plight, that we have asked for that, so. And then ultimately, or the final one, if granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality, and clearly, it won't. I'm sure we'll all notice when we come there, but, you know.
I think it will improve it.
It will improve it, and again, all of the, except for the one awning on the back there, you know, it's all falling within the, you know, the lines of the building. So I feel pretty confident in approving this. So I would put forward to approve this variance request.
I'll make the motion to approve the Wilkes variance request.
I'll second the motion.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Variance passes. Now, on to business. So last time, we had wanted to talk more about what we could do about the commercial industrial district. And to that end, I think it would be good to find out more about what other communities have done with their commercial industrial districts, where they've also had housing, and figuring out how we can make that interplay smoother, so we don't have the problems that we had with the Hamilton house, for instance, where we had, you know, we make it R1, which is great for Anna and for the people to occupy it, but it was not so great for the people around her. So we would like to figure out a way for that to work. And obviously, other people, other communities have done this. And so I would ask that Patrick, Mike, Aiden, if you all could find some of that information and bring that to us so that we can go over that in the future here, hopefully maybe next meeting or maybe the one after that, but soonish, because we would certainly like to get that done so that people could start thinking about the spring and building and things like that, and what they could do and what they could change. Because I do think this would be a net benefit for our community. You know, we don't want to stop people doing their jobs, doing their businesses, but we also want to find room for people to have housing.
Right. Yeah, I wonder, you know, we've, I mean, the affordable workforce housing topic is just been a, I mean, endless debate.
Yeah.
And lots of people looking at it. For whatever reason, it feels like the ignored portion of town that's platted is just like the obvious direction that we would want residential housing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the last things to ever come up in conversation. I just wonder why that.
So which section again?
Well, the entire west side of
Oh.
Grand Marais.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's got to be 100 home sites there, 100, you know.
Yeah.
But are they for sale?
Well,
That's-
there's no utility service to it, right?
That's-
So there's
yeah.
no
And that
water,
is-
sewer, and infrastructure, and, but
Yeah.
if you're gonna have a conversation about housing,
Mm-hmm.
to ignore the platted properties,
Mhm.
it seems like a misstep.
And I know the county's talking about that.
And the city is talking about that
yeah.
as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel like we're going in that direction. We're trying to figure out how that can happen. And I know with, you know, it's been nice having Anton on the city council, because he's definitely looked into that and tried to figure out ways to do it. And it, you know, that is a sticking point for sure.
Right.
You know, how do we make the utilities affordable? And how do we pay for it then? You know, because we'll
Right.
still, you know, we're still us, we're still a small town.
Yeah, and I don't know how that works.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
If this is like an IRRB type of program, I mean, I know we've got some money in the county,
Mhm.
you know, that from the last go around of funding from,
Yep.
you know, that there's stuff that, but my point is,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's nice to investigate these other little pockets,
Mhm.
but until we can like come up with, you know, why aren't we doing this?
Mhm.
Are we gonna do it? Are we not gonna do it? Why aren't we doing it?
Right.
And then but it seems like if we're gonna have that conversation, great, but we're talking about developing 600 acres, you know, we're talking, you know, for, this other park,
Oh, you mean up in the hill?
you're right. This
Yeah, oh,
other-
yeah.
like all
Didn't
of
that
these,
die? I thought that died.
but all of these things, so I'm like, well, if we really want to make this a priority in housing, well, let's make it a priority. I don't know.
No.
Got a lot of people
Yeah.
looking at it. Well, let's just do it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that, I have no argument there at all. I
Yeah.
absolutely agree. But I also don't think those have to be two separate things. I
No.
think we can do both. And I think the low-hanging fruit is the one where we've already seen action. Like, Anna was taking action right there. She has taken action
Right.
up here in the other district by Creechville. So we've seen it happen. So let's make it easier. Let's make it really possible for that to happen. That doesn't mean that that can't happen too. That's the way I see it.
I think
Like,
that is just a slower, longer term
because it's
process.
bigger dollars, and you don't
Yeah,
want to
we
build
don't
an
have the money.
infrastructure and then have nobody buy it, or, I mean,
Well, I think
I
if we
think
had
people
the
would buy it.
infrastructure was there, I think it would
But-
develop itself.
Sure,
Yeah,
and my
absolutely.
So we
lim-
just gotta get that there,
Yeah.
but that is going to take,
Yeah.
that's going to be a long process.
Yeah, and I do
yeah.
feel with the county and the city working on this, and, we all want it to happen, it is going to happen.
Yeah.
And it's just, one of the challenges seems to be, and I'm not an expert at this at all, but is the water and the stone in that area is what makes it really challenging to put in infrastructure. And so, but, everybody's talking infrastructure, so hopefully we can get some of those
Yeah.
dollars and get that in that section, because I
Right.
absolutely agree. It's ridiculous when we look at our map.
Mhm.
It's like, that's all the city, nothing's happening.
Right.
It's like,
And I'm hoping that we get a really good HRA director hired.
Yes.
Because that will help having one person, that's
Yeah.
their focus of going out and figuring it out
Mhm.
how we actually get it done. Right now, we've got volunteers putting in, doing different little parts of it, and
Yeah.
that's just not
No.
working.
Not
And
really.
it certainly got us to get an HRA though, so I mean,
Yeah,
it
no,
it did
that-
work to get us there, now
That
we
is a
need to
very
go
good thing.
a big step, and I'm excited we have an HRA.
Position.
Well, that we,
Well-
it's not totally ready yet,
Okay.
but it's
But-
authorized, okay?
Yeah,
And
it's
hopefully
authorized,
get
we have
really
the
good
funds, we just have to
candidates
get
to
the
serve
person.
on that.
Yeah.
That's what it's going to take.
It's an interesting deal, and this is part of like, for most people don't understand that government just works incredibly painfully slow.
painfully.
It's awful. It's truly awful,
Mm-hmm.
right? If this is privately funded and private sector,
Mm.
and the need is clearly there, if you
Yeah.
provide
Yeah.
the resources to be able to put these homes up and to be able to tie into
Mm-hmm.
sewer and water, you're gonna have 100 homes. You're gonna have 100 homes in 5 years or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what we want.
it doesn't seem very difficult.
Well, and that's been the thing, I mean, that, nobody wants to build because of the cost of the infrastructure, right? So, yeah, that's the hiccup. And if we can get that paid for somehow, and not just on the city's back or the county's, but like, if we can get some outside dollars, we could really make that
And not to
happen.
pirate the conversation
Yeah.
about what you wanted to do with.
Oh, yeah, no,
Because I think that that's
absolutely-
legitimate as well, but
Mhm.
I have a really hard time talking about these little pockets of
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for residential when we can't ignore.
Yeah.
No,
And I don't think we've taken our eye off of that prize. I
Right.
mean, that is the big prize. But these are the little things that have stuck in the craw that we have come across, that
Yep.
I just feel like, let's just, we, us, we can't make that happen, but we can make that happen. So let's do that.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
make that happen so that those people who do want to build in that area can do it. And they can have their homes, and they can have their businesses, and everybody's happy,
Right.
ideally. Right?
good, let's get it
Well,
done.
We'll get it done. Okay, so, anything more, commissioners, before we call it a day?
I don't think so.
No? All right. Well, thank you all for being here today. It was awesome, and we've got our work cut out for us. Hopefully, we'll get some information from you guys. Oh, wait, there is one thing!
Yes, thank you.
Oh, my gosh. Before we call it quits. So, in our minutes from last time, we had been asking about getting a heads up about variances and that kind of thing. And we do really want that to happen. Like, we did not get the variance for George until Monday. It was in the paper, so.
That's how I knew
clearly-
about it. I
So
read it in the
clearly, it was
paper.
already known. So we would really like to get that ahead of time. And also, and I'm not saying you have this control, but it would be really great to get our packets on a Friday, so at least we've got some potential to get, I mean, obviously, this was not the most complicated,
Right, yes.
but sometimes they are. And it would be nice to just consistently get them on a Friday. It seems like that had been happening for a while, but I would like to be sure that does happen.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to say that, when you send the notice to the newspaper, that there is a planning commission
Yeah, it's like, oh.
meeting or hearing, we get a copy of the application
Yeah,
that's on, because there was somebody that said something about angry trout, and I'm like, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
it's in the paper.
And then I had to go read my paper, and I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah. So,
I was
and-
blindsided again.
And I don't know how to make that more seamless, but we should be doing that,
Yeah.
I think. All right, with that,
Now,
I would say we are adjourned. Thank you,
Okay.
commissioners.
thank you.
Thanks, guys. Again, sorry I'm late.
No.
Thank you for the call.